Well, thank you, guys, for joining us. Welcome to the Autobody Source Live, actually, the very first episode of our podcast series, where we do our best to make connections and provide a space to engage in meaningful dialogue for those who are in the automotive collision repair industry and those who are curious with exploring careers in this field. And to that end, we're very, very pleased to welcome our very first guest for our first episode with an organization who we happen to be neighbors with here in Arizona, the TechForce Foundation. We have today Ben Peoples with TechForce, who's going to give us a little bit of insight into, firstly, we'd love to know, Ben, who is TechForce and how do they help students?
So, yeah, really glad to be on. Glad to be your first guest. TechForce Foundation is a national nonprofit 501c3 organization. So we are a nationwide nonprofit. We work in all 50 states, and we're really committed to career exploration and workforce development for technician professionals. So we work with schools, with students, with working technicians and employers to really build the pipeline of technicians to support and to inspire students to consider pursuing technician careers across industries. Then we support students through their technical education. We do scholarships. We'll award over $2.3 million in scholarships in 2023 alone. And then we connect technicians and graduates, existing technicians to careers in the field. So we represent all sectors. We're from auto to collision, diesel to aviation, motorcycle, motorsports, welding. We're throughout the industry, throughout the mobility and transportation industry. And we have really this online network that we've built, which is exciting. So TechForce has been around for about 20 years. A little over 2 years ago, we launched TechForce as a place where you can log in, access all of our resources, connect to the industry, connect to schools, to employers, to other technicians. And we have everything from games, trivia, contests, to events, and even training in there. So you can go into TechForce and you can watch a video that's 1 or 2 minutes long and get a really high level view of regenerative braking system. And if you've not worked with EVs before, that might be a good introduction for you. We have some longer trainings in there, and it's really exciting, the engagement that we see. We have over 20,000 people in the network, and over 16,000 of them are students. So it's really exciting to see students at the even the high school level engaging with us and talking to industry and really getting a head start in their careers.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Are students, I guess one of the things that I'd noticed actually with one of our local technical schools that hosts an automotive collision repair program is that you guys have a very, very deep connection with schools directly. I've seen posters hanging up. Are there ways that other stakeholders in the industry can get involved, like for say body shops themselves or jobbers or warehouse distributors? How can businesses support TechForce?
Yeah, I think first of all, they can join the network, right? If you join TechForce's network, you can see everything we have to offer. And then we are also connecting with shops directly. So if you go to techforce.org and then click contact us, we have a TechForce champion program that we have launched and that we are encouraging people to participate in. And that program allows it's being refined at the moment, but that program allows individual shops to support TechForce directly, to engage with our resources, to provide resources and opportunities for the members of TechForce, and then also to really support our mission of inspiring, connecting, and supporting students and technicians throughout the industry.
That's great. That's great. We've had the privilege of connecting with you guys on the trade show floor last November at Apex in Las Vegas, and we had seen and interacted with some of the youngsters there and some of the other industry stakeholders, so we can see the impact that you guys have had. You mentioned before we had jumped on that there was an overview that you guys could share just to give students insight into what the network looks like for them.
Yeah, so I can go ahead and play that. This is less than a minute, and it kind of speaks for itself.
TechForce, the first and only network for next-gen tech.
Welcome to TechForce, a platform dedicated to launching and advancing the careers of next-generation technicians. People like you, students, instructors, working techs, industry leaders, you. Showcase your school, job, and awards. Post your current project and follow your friends. Flex your talent. Follow industry trends and connect with future employers. Connect works on all devices. Compete with other users and climb the leaderboard in daily and special trivia. Scholarships.
$2.3 million in scholarships awarded annually.
Explore your passion, flex your talent, build your career. Join techforce.org.
That's awesome. That's really, really comprehensive. It looks like just from that overview that there are gaps in the career path pipeline, so to speak, for students. And like, it looks like for not only just students, but like for them to get funding and for the school's academic arena as well. What were the gaps that TechForce may have identified in developing this?
I think one of the ones we've been filling for the longest time that we felt addressed earliest was the ability to pay for the cost of education. So you heard in that video, we're awarding $2.3 million in scholarships and grants this year alone. And so that's scholarships to cover the cost of tuition. And we also have assistance grants. And we hear all the time from students who maybe their car broke down and they can't get to class, or there's even a flat tire. And we've found through some of the studies that we've done and that we've worked with, or the existing research out there, $400 is enough to derail a student's education. So if we can come in a critical juncture and we can award a scholarship or grant to keep that student in school, then they're going to go and have an entire career in the industry. But that fork in the road could be where they leave the industry and they go and pursue another pathway. And so with the technician shortage and the overwhelming demand for more technicians than there are, every technician who doesn't go into the industry that is committed to it in the first place is a huge missed opportunity. And then we also work with the industry to address the technician shortage. So looking at the number of students in school, there are more than 5 jobs for every graduate of tech school this year. And so we've taken on the mantle of fueling the pipeline, building the next generation of technicians. And that's why the Inspire piece of what we do is connecting with students as young as middle school and in person at events, getting them excited, having them pick up a tool for the first time, or getting them into our online network. If they join TechForce, they can find events throughout the country that we have tickets for. So we have students that we just took out to Mecum, Dallas, from Dallas Independent School District. So the high school students in Dallas went to Mecum. They got a backstage tour. They learned all about technicians' roles in an auction space, which is exciting and not a place that students really might think about, right? If they think about a technician, they're going to think about where their parents get their car fixed, or they're going to think about a collision shop, or they're not going to think about some of the more commercial aspects of it that are also out there. And so we do a lot of that career exploration. We offer students the ability to do it in person. We also offer the ability to do it online and virtually. To play, we have trivia on there. We have training, as I mentioned, and that all exposes students to a lot of the opportunities that they may not know exist. And then we support them once they decide to go to school. And then for the industry piece, we have also published some research and everything from looking at the supply, looking at the shortage and calculating the supply and demand, and then looking at advice and resources that shops can take advantage of to make themselves more appealing to techs, or to nurture talent, or to help with retention. These are all things that we've put out for the industry to find, and we're working to publish more as well. So we're building out a resource section, which is it's on its way publicly, but if you go and log into TechForce, you can also find all sorts of resources like our training pieces, which are really valuable.
That's awesome. So it seems like there's different levels of the training, not just for the students, but also like kind of acclimating schools and even some of the shops to prepare them. Do you find that body shops are prepared, or automotive shops in general are prepared for an influx of new workers, or are prepared to kind of help equip them as they're onboarding?
I think they're prepared for an influx. I think there's a lot of open positions, and if those positions were filled, I think a lot of shops would be very happy. As far as preparing, that really varies shop by shop. And there are a lot of places that are doing some really great things, that are supporting students directly. They're connecting with schools. They're hosting apprenticeships. And then there are some places that are just kind of sitting back on their heels and waiting for applications to come in. And in the current environment, that's not a winning strategy. I don't think, right? This is a personal opinion, not a TechForce one. I don't think that's a winning strategy when you're competing, when there's not enough techs to go around, and you're competing with shops that are actively recruiting. So I think if a shop is wondering how they can attract more students, they can go to really go to TechForce and connect. And if they become a TechForce champion, there's opportunities to put job postings in our network as well, where we have over 20,000 people. But I think one resource that might be really helpful is our Women in Tech white paper. So for a couple of years, TechForce has really pushed hearing from women technicians, and that culminated in last year. We produced a white paper looking at the role that women could solve and women could play in solving the tech shortage, because there are only less than 4% of working technicians are women. Right. And women make up, I think at last figure, 51 or 52% of the population. So half, or a little more than half of the US population is women, but our technician workforce, only 4%. So there's a huge opportunity there, where if there was some gender parity, we would just have a lot more technicians, period, overall. And so there are a lot of reasons where the women that we've talked to over the past couple of years, have felt like maybe this isn't the place for them, or they don't feel welcome in this career, or there's been a lot of obstacles that they've pushed through. But we've talked to them. We've done some research. We've really summarized what we've heard. And that's all in the Women Tech's white paper that's available at techforce.org. So that's another valuable resource on how you can make your shop more welcoming, really more attractive to technicians, whether they're entering the workforce, they're existing in the workforce, whether they're young, whether they're experienced, whether they're male, women, whatever. We have information out there, and it's throughout the industry. I mean, there's a lot of research that's coming out, because everyone's asking this question: how can I find more techs? Right? I mean, everyone's been asking it for 5 or 10 years, and we've been answering it for a while.
That's awesome. Awesome. Well, we really appreciate that exploration of really what is available, what's out in the marketplace now, and how you guys have been driving the more of this growth and increasing the flow of and the connection between the future technicians and all the industry that needs them. The app that was mentioned, shown in your video, is available in the app stores, I'm assuming, right?
It is, yeah. So TechForce, if you go to techforce.org and log in through a mobile browser or through your computer, you can access the full extent of our resources. We have some, we do also have on the Apple Play Store and the Google Play Store, we have apps as well. The apps include most of our features, but they don't include our full. So if you really want the full TechForce experience, you can access it through a browser as well. But if you go to techforce.org, click login, at the top of the screen, and that takes 90 seconds to create a profile, and then you're in there, and you only have to create it once, right? You just log in the future. It's all free to access. The industry, we have industry support from OEMs, from people in the collision space, in the aviation space. We have supporters throughout the industry, and they've all come together to make what our resources available to the public for free. And that support is what is enabling us to pursue our mission. And also forgot to mention the aftermarket. That's a huge one. We have a lot of support throughout the industry.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, we really appreciate you giving us this overview. We're definitely looking forward to having you back and other affiliates and members of your team there. And if we invite anyone who is not already acquainted with TechForce, you can visit the website again, techforce.org. And I think your social handle is @TechForce Foundation. So
yeah, that is it.
Awesome. Well, we definitely enjoyed having you aboard our inaugural podcast episode here, and we're definitely looking forward to staying in touch with you guys. Thanks so much for your time.
Thanks for having me, and congratulations on the launch.
Thank you. Thanks very much. And we invite all you guys who are either listening or watching back for a future episode of Autobody Source Live. And we appreciate all your time. Hope you guys have a good rest of the week and the day, and we'll see you next time.